football. It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, it looks like Stephen Fulton isn't the only American that's willing to go overseas for a big fight and try to make some greatness of his own. No, he ain't alone anymore. He's got some company now, because now, mark this one down on your calendar. Say the date, March 12th. Tony Superbad Harrison, the former WBC 154-pound champion, he will get on a plane and he will fly all the way to Australia and he will fight in place of Jermell Charlo against none other than Australia's very own cash cow boxing, Tszyu. Now, man, what a fight. I mean, this is a fight that I remember a year and a half ago, something like that. They actually were talking about Tszyu versus Tony Harrison in Australia before Tszyu fought. I believe it was Dennis Hogan or Takashi Inoue. It was one of those fights. And Tony Harrison didn't want to fight him, or didn't fight him, or didn't accept the offer. Whatever it was, it just didn't pass. But it was a fight that was talked about in 2021. So did it happen when I really wanted it to happen? But it still happened at a pretty damn good time, because there's not many better fights you could do in this division than Tony Harrison versus Tszyu. So my hat goes off to Tony Harrison for taking this fight, for taking the opportunity, to be willing to get on the plane to fight Tszyu. And it's a great fight. And I feel like, Tszyu's a guy that hasn't fought nobody as good as Tony Harrison. Tony Harrison, for all the durability problems we have, in terms of technical skills, maybe the best fighter in this division. It's just his durability and his chin always seem to let him down late in fights. But then, when we look at Tszyu and what he does well, he likes to come forward, he likes to have a fight, he likes to have it out with his opponents. So I feel like Tony Harrison is going to have a lot of chances to counterpunch Tszyu and hurt him and make his presence very felt. And I would fully anticipate and fully expect, with this being in Tszyu's backyard, with him being the big money maker he is for Australian boxing, for Tony Harrison had to go out there and not just win, but win in a very convincing and sound fashion. So hell of a fight. But March 12th, shout out to No Limit Boxing. Is that the name of the company? I think it's No Limit Boxing. Shout out to them, the fine folks out there in Australia. It's going to be crazy, man. As far as Charlo's concerned, right, because a lot of people are saying that Jermell Charlo is ducking Tszyu. Now, that's definitely anybody's prerogative to think. It don't necessarily look the best that all of a sudden he's getting injured and he's talking about he's going to do this, he's going to do that, I'm very intrigued to see how Charlo's going to react in the aftermath of all this. Like, if Tszyu, let's just say, right, let's play hypotheticals for a second. If Tszyu knocks out Tony Harrison in a very dominating fight, does Jermell Charlo go ahead and fight him? I don't know. I feel like I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say yes, but I just don't know. You don't know these days in boxing. And then on top of that, so if Tony Harrison wins, right? If Tony Harrison wins, I definitely think he's fighting Tony Harrison, because I truly believe, and I am of the firm belief, that PBC has always wanted to make that Tony Harrison versus Charlo trilogy fight, the third fight. And truthfully, that's the fight that I want, because I've stated many times, that's probably, along with Alicia Baumgartner and Michaela Mayer, that's the best rivalry in boxing. No doubt about it, in terms of like trash talk and intensity. So if Tony Harrison can go to Australia and he earns a victory against Tszyu, then I'm gonna be pushed for the Charlo Harrison trilogy. But really good fight, man. Kind of surprising news in light of all the Inoue Fulton stuff, and then the great fight we had here in Miami last night with Ian Green and Alexander Castro. Go check out that fight if you guys haven't already. It's up on my channel. Great middleweight fight. In light of all these great things happening in boxing, this is, to me, is just like a cherry on top. Like, great things are happening. 2023 is shaping up to be not just a good year, but a great year. So just over the moon about it. I was critical of Tony Harrison. I know my boy High Rose gonna get in here and comment and say, "Expose, BT, you got exposed. You said that he ducked Tszyu. He didn't want to fight Tszyu," which I did say back then. But now Tony Harrison has taken the challenge, and he's taken the challenge in its original context. He's actually going to go to Australia and fight him in the way it was presented to him the first time. So most fighters would do that. To that, you got to give him like a double tip of the cap to Tony Harrison, and it's a chance for him. He beats Tszyu. All of a sudden, now Tony Harrison is really universally looked at to be one of the top 54-pounders out there, and he's right there in line for a shot in a massive rematch for undisputed with Jermell Charlo. So hopefully he does his thing, and hopefully Tszyu comes to fight too, because Tszyu, I feel like this is his watershed moment in boxing. There's a lot of questions about Tszyu because in the 2 fights before this, he didn't look so great against Takashi Inoue. He beat him, and it was a good workmanlike performance, but he didn't light the world on fire, and there was weaknesses and things to be displayed very very openly in that fight. And then if you look at like the Terrell Goucher fight, we know he got dropped, and then he basically won the majority of the rounds after that. But he still got dropped by Terrell Goucher, and that has a lot of questions and suspicions with people. So I feel like Tszyu has his fair share of vulnerabilities. Harrison has his fair share of vulnerabilities. And generally speaking, when you get two fighters with as much vulnerabilities and weaknesses as these guys have, although they're top grade fighters, top championship caliber fighters, you get great fights. So I would expect this to be an exciting fight. And yeah, that's what it is, man. Shout out to Tony Harrison doing what Stephen Fulton's doing. And Devin Haney as well. Going across the pond into behind enemy lines and show that you're willing to prove yourself to be great, to become champion and to have your moment in the sun in boxing. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Who are you favoring? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dingus. So until next time, take care. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this video, click right here and make sure you subscribe. Much love from sunny South Florida.